The Winchester Model 1894 lever-action rifle is by far the most popular deer hunting rifle out there, and it's been that way for quite some time. It might even be the most popular lever-action rifle ever made. There's a lot of things you probably knew about the Winchester Model 94, but what we're going to talk about the top 10 things that you didn't know about the Winchester Model 94. Number 1. Invented by John Browning in 1894, the Winchester 94 was built to fire the black powder cartridges, the 3240 Win and the 3855 Win. In 1894, the 4440 steel was the standard for firearm production. A year later, in 1895, a stronger nickel steel was perfected, which could withstand the higher pressure rounds. Winchester went to the nickel steel for rifle production, and suddenly the Model 94 was able to handle higher pressure rounds. Then in 1895, the Model 94 was the very first repeating rifle to be offered in the 25-35 Winchester and the very popular 30-30 Winchester. Number 2. The Winchester Model 1894 became the standard for 30-30 rounds and quickly became the most popular sporting rifle of its time. And it was the very first sporting rifle to sell over 7 million rifles. Number 3. Due to its popularity, the 1894 made Winchester one of the biggest gun producers of all time. The millionth Model 94 was given to President Calvin Coolidge in 1927. The 1.5 millionth was given to President Harry Truman in 1948. And the 2 millionth was given to President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953. Number 4. During World War I, 1,800 Model 94s were purchased by the U.S. Army Signal Corps for using on the Pacific Northwest to protect the timber harvesting which was used for aircraft production. If you're wondering if you happen to have one of these guns, the serial numbers were 835-800 to 852-500, stamped with the U.S. and a flaming bomb. Of course, the 30-30, which is why it's so popular for hunting, is perfect for dense forests. Number 5. France purchased 15,000 Model 94s for use for motorcycle carriers, trench railway personnel, and balloon units. These can be recognized by a sling swivel on the left side of the buttstock, and its rear sights are in metric units. Number 6. In 1963, Winchester was owned by the Olins Corporation, and during that year, CEO and gun enthusiast John Olin retired, leaving in charge the new chief executives of the Olins Corp., which sought to increase company profits by turning most of their focus on the chemical industry. Because of this, in 1964, Winchester cut manufacturing costs by ceasing machining receivers and many other parts out of solid steel billet, instead used sintered steel for the receiver, stamped sheet metal cartridge lifter, and hollow roll pins in the action rather than solid. Sintering steel is the process of compacting and forming a solid mass of steel from heat and pressure, rather than melting it to the point of liquid, which of course is much cheaper, but not as strong. Number 7. From 1964 to 1980, Winchester produced several 94s for Sears, which they sold as the Ted Williams Model 100. Ted Williams, once a professional baseball player who also served in World War II. Upon returning from World War II, he played his first World Series in 1947, and in 1952 he was called back into service for the Korean War. So I think if you're going to put any baseball player's name on it, I think Ted Williams is a good choice. Number 8. In 1989, then owned by the U.S. Repeating Arms Company, Winchester was purchased by F.N. Herstal out of Belgium. The trouble Winchester was having was not only cheap production of the Model 94, but also the Model 70. F.N. Herstal sought to improve the whole line in 1992. For the Model 94 was reintroduced with machine steel and solid pins, as well as changing the half-cock safety notch into a crossbolt safety, which enabled them to sell the rifle internationally. Number 9. All these changes made the rifle better, and some might argue equal to the pre-64. However, in the U.S., the public looked at the safety as a major downfall, which was widely despised and referred to as a lawyer's safety. FM responded in 2003 by removing the safety and replacing it with a tang safety behind the receiver. And finally, number 10. In 2010, the Model 64 started being produced in Japan by the Moroku Corporation. Among Moroku-produced guns, you'll find not only the Winchester firearms, but also the Browning bolt rifles, shotguns, and the BL-22, as well as some Charles Daly firearms. Some Moroku branded over and under shotguns fetch up to $1,000 in the U.S. FN and Moroku jointly purchased all Browning stock in 1977, and this in no doubt had something to do with the transfer of production from the FN Herstal Company to the Moroku Corporation of the Winchester Model 94. So there you go. There's my top 10 things you probably didn't know about the Winchester Model 94. If there's anything I didn't mention, put them in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. You can also now find us at godfamilyandguns.org and also on Facebook. You can also now be a patron of this channel, and our Patreon link is below. But by far, the most important part of this YouTube channel is it is a ministry to us, and we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that stuff in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.